Okay, so the video is on. Sorry guys, just need to wipe off my face. For a second, in case I have my lunch on it. So, pardon me. Pardon me, you guys. Hello. So, I'm sharing this video today because I would like to share something that, happened to me a few years ago. See, I'm on this North Bay freebie group. It's a group that is supposed to be made for people that, maybe that can't get out on that day, or, whatever, maybe that can't work. Probably people that have found a job, but they can't work. So they asked the public to donate things to them, to bring them food, to bring them any kind of supplies there is. It's meant to be made for people that need help. And so many people are gladly to help them, and which is great. I find that fantastic. I know myself, I would like to help out too. Some things, I'm mostly into donating to the Salvation Army or the food bank, That way I know it goes to people who need it most, Or I would bring food to the homeless shelter, Okay, so a couple years ago, I was at the Tim Hortons, well, a few years ago actually, I was at the Tim Hortons, and I saw this guy sitting there, in the middle of, on the sidewalk, begging for money. He was just outside the Tim Hortons begging for money, He was in the corner, when you come up the door and you go around this way, when you know the no frills. It's not the no frills there when you go in this way. When you go around that way, he was just sitting right in that corner there. And he had a hat, and he had a cigarette in his mouth. But I didn't, I obviously didn't think anything of it. I thought he was just homeless. Or maybe he was hard on money, maybe he needed some help. So I went into the Tim Hortons. I ordered my stuff, I ate it, and then I told my grandmother that I was going to buy that guy Timmy's card so that he can get something to eat, and that, because I know there's people out there that maybe have tried to get a job, but, for whatever reason, they weren't hired, or, maybe they didn't get the job. So sometimes it's very hard for people to find a job. But anyway, so I went up to the counter. I asked the lady there, and I guess she was a manager there. Whatever. And whether it was an employer or manager, I can't remember exactly. But I asked for a Tim's card because I said to her that, there's some guy that looks like he needs help sitting, this guy begging for money, it looks like he needs help. She said, in a very, very, very strict and blunt tone, she says, "Don't you dare give him money. We offered him a job, and," she said, "and he just refused. He just refuses because he makes more money. He makes more money begging than he would actually working at the Tim Hortons. And, in that moment, I was like, you know what? Fantastic. Thank you so much for telling me. I will not support anybody like that because, most people that are hard on the money, do beg. But I also know that if they got offered a job, they would gladly work. They would gladly accept the offer. You know? So I obviously knew that this guy wasn't in any trouble. He was just out there begging for money just because he can. He is obviously a scammer. Because you get those people too that are scamming people out in the public. So I'm like, thank you so much for telling me I will not give him anything. And I was so upset with that. So upset when I heard that. I said to Grammy, I should get a picture of that guy and post it on social media. Saying that this is not okay. My grandma advised me not to do that because she didn't want me to get in trouble. But if somebody's doing something, I don't see how you would get in trouble for doing that as long as you don't, call them names and threaten them or threaten their lives. Then I don't see how taking a picture of the person and just letting people know that this person got offered a job and he refused to take it because he makes more money getting begging. He obviously gets way more money at the end of the day when people give it to him than he does actually working for it. Then, I don't see how anybody can get in trouble for that. But yeah, so when I mentioned it on North Bay Freebies, people got really, really, really mad. When I did mention that. Because I told people on North Bay Freebies, because it's just gotten so much. It's just every day. Probably like every time when somebody opens that group on Facebook, there's always somebody asking for supplies and food and that. And sometimes you have to wonder, okay, I know that some people might need help. Some people might desperately need it because for whatever reason, maybe they have tried to get a job and maybe they just couldn't for whatever reason. But yeah, I have comments back. This one person says, well, maybe he can't work. And they tried to pin it on me like it was my fault for believing that employee. They were trying to make it look like, the employee was at fault for saying that. But it actually happens. It goes on. People get offered jobs all the time and they refuse. And I know that if a person got offered a job and he or she was really hurting, and is out there begging for money because, at that time, they just didn't have a job. If they got if they got an opportunity to work, most people would take it, wouldn't you think? If they honestly needed, So, I find that people just like to bash and say stupid things. And say that, well, this person can't work because of this reason. Maybe he's disabled. Well, FYI, people that are disabled work all the time. right? People that have disabilities are getting jobs left and right, you know? Maybe not a lot of them, but some of them do have part-time jobs. Like myself. I'm always constantly trying to look for places where I can sell my artwork because I like to paint and I like to make a bit of money off of that. That makes me feel like I have earned that money. You know, something that I enjoy doing. I earn the money by people buying it, you know? So I feel like, you know, doing the paintings and decorating it myself, I feel like, you know, because this is my idea, I'm going around trying to look for places to sell it, you know, versus going out there and with my summer hat and saying, can you can me $2? I need $2 to, you know, to buy food and money. You know, I need $2 because I don't have a job. No, hand me $2, sir. You know. Oh, madam, do you have a 10 cents or something? You know. You know. Hey, come on, people. You know. Come on. I get that some people do that because sometimes, you know, they're in desperate need. But and it's not like they haven't done anything to work hard. That like I saw a guy in Barrie with a sign that's saying that he needed help for food and that. But he was also had a sketchbook and he was drawing. So he was drawing, doodling in a sketchbook. I didn't see what he was doodling, but you know, he must make money off of his drawings somewhat. He must sell them somewhere and to get money, you know, when people don't give him money. You know, and that's how he earns his money. To get food and that. So that's when I decided to help him out, just give him some Gatorade. You know, I bought him some Gatorade and boy was he ever thankful. He said, God bless you, you know. You know, he said, God bless you, you know. God bless you with lots of kindness. Thank you for so much. Boy, did I want to cry when I said that. When I left, yes, I did want to cry because I felt bad in his situation. I felt bad that people were homeless. I felt bad that, you know, he was even in that situation where he felt he had to put a sign out there, but he wasn't begging for money. Some people do, you know. Some people, when you go up to them, they ask you, hey, do you have some change I can borrow to like get myself some gas or something to get home? And the truth is, this guy that did a scene outside the Tim Hortons in North Bay in the city, outside the No Frills there. You know, the Tim Hortons beside the No Frills, right? Well, he had a cigarette. And my grandmother is like, if he didn't have money, if he was hard on, you know, if he was hard on money or if he was struggling, how did he get those cigarettes? You know? And then I said, then I looked at her, I'm like, you know what? That makes sense. Because cigarettes are not cheap. They're probably more expensive than street drugs. You know, that's why you see all the people on fentanyl and ecstasy and that. And rather than going out and buying cigarettes, because cigarettes is so expensive, right? It would probably be cheaper to buy fentanyl than it would be to buy cigarettes. Or marijuana now, because marijuana is legal, right? So you probably see a lot more people high on crack than on, you know, than smoking a little piece of paper with like tobacco coming out of it, you know? Because, you know, so you gotta, you know, that's what I think. That's what my opinion. But I'm not sure how much street drugs cost. I don't think they cost much. Because, like I said, so many homeless people are taking it. And not many of them really smoke cigarettes. So it goes to show you that they obviously can't afford to buy cigarettes, but they can afford to buy drugs. You know? So this just shows me that this guy, he's smoking cigarettes. He obviously is not in trouble. He obviously is not struggling. You know? So that's why I said to the employee, that's why I believe the employee. Right? Because when she said she offered him a job multiple times, but he refused, you know, she gave him several opportunities to have a job. But he just didn't want to work because he makes more money begging than he actually would working for his money. And the fact that the people on the North Bay freebie site said that, oh, they can't work because of this reason, they're disabled, and it's like, that's crap. That's bullshit right there. Right? Because even people that have lost their ability to walk have a job. You know? You know? People that have, you know, been born with autism or developed multiple mental illnesses and disorders and that. Right? Like my friend Carrie, right? One of my good friends. She said that she has been abused so bad by her parents that she developed a lot of things wrong with her. You know? She has so much going on with her now. You know, and she'll have that for the rest of her life. For the rest of her life. You know? And she's currently trying to get her high school diploma, even though she's in her late 40s. You know? She's trying to get her high school credits and hopefully go to college and work with people in the school. Work with special needs people. Right? So, and she has multiple issues. She has, most of the time, it was developed, I guess. Because when you're abused, you do have psychological damage and emotional damage. Like, you do have trust issues. Most of it is trust issues, I think. And, you know, obviously she got therapy and help to deal with that, you know? Because she is a mom of 4 kids and she's very happy. She's a very loving mother, you know? She loves being a mom, you know? She loves her kids unconditionally, you know? But That doesn't mean that she doesn't struggle when she's out in the community, though. She just hides it because, in all honesty, you can't let your issue from your past prevent you from enjoying things in the future, in the present. So, yes, it might be scary still, and yes, you might have psychological damage, maybe a bit of schizophrenia, maybe a bit of this, maybe a bit of that, because of the abuse you suffered in the past, or because of your, in my case, I'm born like that. I'm born with autism, I do have OCD, and I have schizophrenic tendencies, too, right? Which causes me lots of behavior problems, and And, you know, if you think a person that can be that disabled that they can't even do something to earn their money, you're dead wrong, because I can't have a job. I can't work underneath the boss because I wouldn't be able to do it. I wouldn't be able to get up at a certain time and leave at a certain time. I wouldn't be able to take being told what to do, when to do it, and that. But I use my art, the things that I like to paint. I use what I enjoy, and I find ways, and I find places where I can sell it and make money off of that. So I'm not working underneath anybody. I'm not working for somebody. I'm working for myself. But yes, I still have to be there at certain times that I commit to. But selling art is a bit more easier because most places, you don't have to be there at 9 and stay there until like 5. You can come in the middle of it and just set up a vendor for a couple hours, or something like that. So you don't have to stay all day if you don't want to, So I do believe that while, yes, people have a hard time to work for somebody, doesn't mean they can't use other means to earn money, Like, there's lots of people that cut grass. Lots of people that walk dogs. Lots of people that garden, clean up people's yards in the springtime, or clean houses, They clean the people's houses. There's some people out there that just like the garden, There's some people out there that plant flowers for people that can't do it themselves, right? So, like, if you're older, like 80s or 90s, and you want a garden, but you can't plant them yourself, I think people can develop a job like that where they can say, hey, I like doing that. I can do that for somebody, one of these days. Make a little bit of money off of planting flowers for that person. And you're not working for somebody, but you're helping that person. You're helping that person, and you enjoy it, because it's, once you plant the garden, that is very rewarding, and then you just come back and water it, or they water it themselves, or whenever they're not there. Let's say they're off for a couple weeks or something, you would just go in the morning, water it, and at night water it, In my case, I like to paint, and I'm hopefully, you know, my goal is to make cards for people that are living in assisted living, because not everybody that has family that comes and sees them for whatever reason, maybe they live far away, maybe they're all dead. Um, they either just don't have family, or maybe they do, but their family is living further away. Maybe sometimes their family just refuses to see them. Maybe it's not so hard for them to see their mom and dad, or their aunt and uncle, or grandma, or sibling, you know? Maybe they just refuse to do it for some reason. Lots of people are like that as well. Lots of people think, well, my family member, has gotten so old, is that she says that she can't cook for herself anymore. So, in all honesty, she might not make me my favorite meal anymore. It was like, I'm not even gonna bother, to see them anymore, you know? So that could be another reason, why. And then those people feel forgotten about. Those people, you know, are so lonely. It would make them feel better in their heart if somebody like me made them a homemade card and gave it to them, like a thinking of you card, or that, or caring for you, or something, whatever it's titled, on the front. Just to let them know that somebody cares about them. That would make them extremely happy. That would make them thrilled, and so that's another one of my goals. So, yeah, I might have special needs, and I might have tendencies that most people find hard, but I'm always finding ways sometimes that I can, you know, find something that I enjoy, paint it, or make it, draw it, maybe, whatever I feel like doing. And then selling them somewhere to make money, And I think there is something coming up in June. Pardon me. There is something coming up in June. Down at the waterfront, they have vendors, apparently. Pardon me. And I was told that, I can email them and inquire about it. And yeah, hopefully I can sell my art there. Just find out what the fees are, and if they do have any fees, because I don't want to pay for a table, that's $20. And I don't, and I don't want to have to pay them $20 and then not make that much, And $20 to set up a table is more expensive anyway. It's kind of expensive. So you got to charge more. And that's not me. I want to charge my artwork at a reasonable price where people can buy it, And, so many people, you know, so I just wanted people to know that just because you might be disabled, and that doesn't mean you can't look for a job, or you can't, you know, either do whatever. Like I said, you don't have to work for somebody, but you can just take whatever you enjoy doing and use that to make money. Whatever productive thing you like doing, you know, whether it's gardening, mowing the lawn, cleaning up somebody's yard, you know, um, walking the dog, you know. Some people really enjoy doing that, so they take up dog walking. Pet sitting for somebody. Maybe you might want to babysit their pet. Or, and if the person says, okay, well, this dog needs to be, or my dog needs to be taken out like at 9 o'clock in the morning, then you would, obviously show up there at 9 o'clock in the morning and take the dog out. But then afterwards, it's like, it's like, it's almost like when the person's going to work, you can just come and take the dog out much later because that dog will be so tired it will sleep all day, right? So you can come right before the owner comes home and take it out again. Or, and that way the dog is good for the night, you know? Or, like I said, about planting flowers for people that are too old to do it themselves but want a nice garden. You can plant flowers for them, and then certain people may be able to water it, some people may not, you know? Some people may just want you to water it because it's not because they can't be bothered, but it's because they're too old, that they would like that if the person watered it for them, you know? Maybe they can't carry the bucket of water anymore or something like that. Maybe they find it hard. Or maybe they're just too old, but they would like somebody to do it for them. And that's no big deal. That's not a huge deal. And they pay those people to do it. They actually pay them people. And they pay them good money to do that. And it's very rewarding when you have done something that you're so happy with, that you enjoy, that people are interested in what you're doing enough to purchase it. It makes you want to do more of that hobby, for the other people. So like me with my art, when I sell it, if somebody buys it, and then a few more people buy it, it makes me want to paint more and more and more. You know what I mean? Because I find that my hard work, my enjoyable work, people will like it and it pays off. You know? I enjoy painting. I love to do it for a hobby, but I also like to make money off of it as well. And seeing the people happy and walking away with a smile is the most rewarding thing to me ever. It's like money isn't even worth it anymore. Yes, I do get happy, but it's like seeing the people smile from ear to ear, like this when they're walking away and they're holding the boxes or the wooden boxes that I painted or and decorated or the canvas that I painted. That means the world to me more than anything, you know? That's what's rewarding to me the most, you know? I get paid. I get paid a little bit of money, yes, because I put in the hard work in order to make that person smile. Right? Can you get it? I get paid because I put in the hard work to make some of you smile, you know? Some of the people smile out there. So, yeah, and as I'm mentioning this, yes, there are people that are still going to be judgmental. There are people that are not going to be happy with what I'm saying because, people just don't seem to give a shit about what's actually the truth. And they could be getting scammed. They could be getting taken advantage of. Like, you don't know when you're giving somebody food if they're really needing it or not. Like, yeah, they could be asking for supplies, all kinds of supplies for their children, and you could be helping out somebody that could possibly get around, could possibly take the bus. And take the bus for a few bucks and then get a transfer back home so they don't have to pay the second time. You can easily do that, but they just choose not to. And there should be no reason why people can't take the bus or take some kind of a transportation, Maybe, except for on that day, maybe, you know? Maybe their husband does the grocery shopping and they run out of stuff and they're in desperate need and they need it in the moment, then that'd be different. Because that's completely different, So most people might be in that situation as well. But, there are people out there that try to take advantage of people. And if you're going to be stupid enough to give somebody supplies without even checking into that person or not, without even doing your research, it's like, it serves you right. It serves you damn right, for getting taken advantage of, Like, I don't feel bad for you one bit, I don't. I can care less, if you complain about somebody taking advantage of you. I know that I myself am doing my part, and I'm not going out there asking people for supplies. I'm not doing that. No. Because I know that just because I'm disabled, and yes, I'm on ODSP, doesn't mean that I can't earn my money in some other way, you know? And, you know, and, yeah, there's no reason for that, No reason why people should be asking people for supplies, especially since they don't have any money themselves, most of them. Some people, when they pay their bills and their groceries, they don't have money to give away, right? So, it's really gotten so much on that group of people asking for money. It's like, you don't know who's really struggling and who isn't, you know? It's really, really, really hard. So, it's really hard to know. And as I'm on the group, I do feel bad that they might be in some kind of trouble. But at the same time, it's like, I want to help out. I want to give people food and supplies. I want to go up to somebody's house and say, here you go, and hand them a bag of food. Because I heard you need some food. So here's couple bags of food for you. That would make me so happy, if I did that in the future. Because I know if that was my dad or my mom, I would expect somebody to do that for them. Somebody do that for my family, if my family was struggling. And so I'm just picturing somebody needing supplies in the moment, or, for whatever reason, they ask for food. I'm just picturing me bringing over food to them as of like, and if they really need it, it's like, this could be my family member one day, or this could be me. You don't know. So, but you also gotta be careful, because it's like, the amount of people out there scamming on money, more people out there that are trying to take advantage of people online by going into these groups when they shouldn't. So, it's like, no, get lost. This isn't a group for you to be taking advantage of people. Get lost. This is a group for people that actually need help and need support. Like, it's not for you to go around asking people for food and supplies and pretending you need help just because you just don't want to go and get it yourself. You know? You know? Or because you don't want to spend in what you have in your bank account. Instead you want to spend everybody else's money. When you have it. When you have money yourself. It's like, fuck off, dude. Fuck off, people. Like, get lost. Don't be doing that. It's not fair. It's not okay. Like, get lost. Go away. You know? go away. You know, we don't want your negativity. You know, it's not fair. It's not right.